Knicks training camp is underway, and we're going to break down everything that's happening in Charleston as the Knicks are at the Citadel for training camp. Tom Thibodeau said he likes getting away for training camp so people can just block out all the outside noise. He called it BS and just focus on the nitty-gritty, which is Knicks training camp, which is the first step in the process for the Knicks to get back to the playoffs and advance past the second round this time. Speaking of the second round, the season is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. We have a preseason game against the Boston Celtics this Monday, and we're going to be live on the channel. If you are ready for the NBA season to be here, hit that thumbs up icon right now. We're going to talk about Josh Hart, Quentin Grimes, Julius Randle, and a little bit about Jalen Brunson in today's video. Well, really just a lot of the news coming out of training camp are quotes from players. And Josh Hart said he is ready to play the power forward position for the New York Knicks this year. That was a huge talk this offseason. Can he do it? Does he want to do it? Will he be able to do it? He said this at training camp, quote, "Last year when I was in Portland, I essentially was one of the power forwards. Jerami Grant, the player for the Blazers, we liked his length on the ball. So I would guard all of the fours. It's small ball, small pick and roll, stuff like that. Stuff I'm used to, stuff I'm cool with. I like being able to get the ball, short roll in space, and be able to just create, so it'll be fun." I'm absolutely hyped to see the Knicks play a little bit more small ball this year. They've been really reluctant to do that under Tom Thibodeau. Tibbs really preaches rim protection and owning the glass. And of course, you're not going to have much rim protection with Hart at the 4, but you have a lot of defensive versatility. He can guard guards, he can guard some wings, and he can even keep some big guys off the glass. We know he's one of the best offensive rebounders in this league, but at 6'5", 225 pounds, really broad shoulders, built like a football player, he's able to keep some guys off the glass, and he's another playmaker that you can have at that power forward spot, one of the best coast-to-coast takers of the basketball off the glass. I honestly have been thinking about this for a couple of days now. How is Josh Hart not going to be in the closing lineup for the New York Knicks? You know Brunson's going to be out there. You know Randle's going to be out there. And you know one of the two bigs, and Mitchell Robinson and Isaiah Hartenstein, is going to be out there. Josh Hart is just a winner, man. He makes winning basketball plays. The only way that he finds himself not a part of this closing rotation is if he doesn't become a better outside shooter. He shot great for the Knicks in the regular season, but it was on very minimal attempts. He needs to be a better volume shooter. We saw him when he came to the Knicks, knock down 59% of his downtown looks, but only 2.1 per game. And even when the regular season was going on and he was red hot from downtown, I said a couple of times that I wish he would be a little bit more aggressive. And he was that in the playoffs, but he shot just 31.3% in the playoffs. Eric Spoelstra, his game plan was make Josh Hart beat you from downtown. And that can be an Achilles heel for this offense. I'm hoping Hart takes a step at the three-point percentage this year, gets better in that area, and we get this number closer to about 36%, and this number continues to go up and maybe even gets closer to 4 attempts per game. Big fan of Josh Hart. Loved the move at the time. Love it even more. Glad he's here on a contract extension, but where he needs to be better is three-point shooting and being efficient when the volume goes up. We're going to talk about Quentin Grimes coming up in a second, but if you want more training camp updates and news and videos every day for free, hit that subscribe button. Sub to Knicks Now by Chat Sports. Free content every day. Watch parties every game this season. Hit that sub button and let's freaking go. One thing that we talked about on this channel in the offseason was the fact that Quentin Grimes reached out to JJ Redick to get some one-on-one training with him and working with him in the offseason. And I love that. And I love what Quentin Grimes said, the reason that he checked in with Redick and how and why he wanted to work with him. Quote, "I knew what my role would be coming into the season after talking with Tibbs. I know JJ was one of the best shooters ever. His conditioning was otherworldly. Coming off of screens, pin downs, I knew those were going to be the plays that are run for me this season." You're telling me we're running plays for Quentin Grimes this year? He's not just your little corner boy over there? Thank you. Thank you, God. I've been begging and pleading that they run some action for Quentin Grimes. He's one of the best catch-and-shoot players in the NBA. He's one of the smartest players on this roster. He's one of the most winning players on this team. He needs the ball more. I'm not saying let him just go out there and cook and pick and rolls. But how about running an off-ball action for him where we look like we're trying to overload on the left with Randle and Brunson, and you throw a skip pass to the corner off a baseline cut? We need to see it. Quentin Grimes has been excellent when he gets the minutes. His stats when he gets more than 10 shots per game is exceptional. His points go up to almost 18 points per game, and he remains with that 40% shot, three-point percentage. More shots, the efficiency stays the same. He needs to be a bigger part of this offense. I'm hyped that we're going to actually be running some action for Grimes this year. We'll tell you more about what Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson said at Knicks training camp, but I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor of today's show, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the promo code CLNS, and they're going to match your initial deposit up to $100. Daily fantasy sports made easy is what Prize Picks is. It's also the largest independently owned daily fantasy sports platform in North America, and it is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy. Instead of battling versus thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you just select 2 or more players in your lineup, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. They already have some season-long averages for the New York Knicks that revolve around Brunson, Randle, and Barrett. You just choose more or you choose less on those, and you let the players do the work, and you watch and you have fun and potentially win some money, potentially 25 times the amount of money that you placed on the lineup that you want to roll with. PrizePicks.com/CLNS, and remember, promo code CLNS, and they're going to hook you up and match your initial deposit of up to $100. We talked about Grimes and the usage. Here are the stats. When this man shot 10-plus times in a game this year, he averaged 17.8 points per game. That is ridiculous. There was 25 games this year where Grimes shot the ball 10 or more times, and 8.5 of them were three-pointers. He can light it up. He can shoot threes with the best of them. 40+%, 17.8 points per game. I think it's safe to say that Grimes needs to be a bigger focus, and it sounds like Tom Thibodeau told him, we're going to run some action for you this year. I love what Julius Randle has been doing this offseason. I feel like he's kind of taken on the role of just kind of being, you know what, I don't care about what you guys are saying at this point. He talked about how he's watched some Bruce Lee movies this offseason and how it's kind of molded his mindset of, it's you guys. I'm not going to react to everything you say anymore. This is what he said that I thought was interesting, though. I think my efficiency will be a lot better this year. I think I understand the game at a higher level. And I tried to connect the dots of what he was saying. I went back and looked at all the stats of his tenure with the New York Knicks. And the thing that changed drastically the most for me was 2 things. His three-pointers per game went way up. His first year with the Knicks, he attempted just 3.6 threes per game. That went up to 5.5 the year before. Then that went down to 5.4 in 2021. But this past year, he averaged 8.3s taken per game. So then I went and looked, and I kind of thought, what did I notice different about Randle this year? He wasn't shooting those dumb 18, 20, 21-foot threes, 20-foot step-back mid-range jumpers anymore. So the threes went up by 3 per game. And just look at the amount of shots from the mid-range area that he took when he first got to the Knicks. In 2020, he shot 412 mid-range jumpers, arguably the worst shot in the NBA. Then he went down 112 attempts. In 2021 and 2022, he shot 300 mid-range jumpers. Remember, he went up 3 threes per night this last year, and he cut down 100 mid-range jumpers this year as well, only shooting 200 of those. I really like that. I like just using simple math. 3 is more than 2. Open threes are easier shots than step-back 2s. I really think Randle is going to have another great year with the New York Knicks. I know he struggled in the postseason. You don't got to tell me. I watched every game. We were live for every game on this channel. You can go watch my reactions for those games. He has to be better in that regard. But in the regular season, I think it's fair to say he's a top 20 player in the NBA. I mean, he made 2-time All-NBA selection 2 out of the last 3 years. That says that by the votes from the media. But he has to find a way to carry that success from the regular season into the postseason. He only has one more chance in my book to get it right in the postseason. If he doesn't get it right in the postseason this year, it's a problem. What's the saying? 1 time you fool me, shame on you. 2 times you fool me, shame on me. 3 times you fool me. I don't know what they say after that, but some George W. Bush quote or something like that. You fool me 3 times, it's F you. That's what I'm saying. Get Randle out of here if he struggles in the postseason. But I believe in him, and I'm riding with him. I think I said this in a show earlier this week. It's cool when Knicks fans say that Julius Randle stinks and he's not clutch and he's not good in the playoffs. But when loser Bulls fans like Patrick Seatman say that Randle stinks, it's not cool. I'm cool with bullying our guy. But it's like that guy that you had in your friend group growing up. You're allowed to talk shit about him. But when that loser crew over there talks shit about him, it's a problem. Answer this for me. Who are you most excited for this year? Is it Randle? Is it Hart? Is it Quentin Grimes? Let me know what you think. For me, it's Quentin Grimes. It really, really is. If you watch this show, you know I'm a huge fan of his. I just think he plays the game the right way. And I truly believe that he could be a starter on an NBA Finals contender. And I want him to be the starting two guard on this team. Elite two-way player. High IQ. Not even scratching the surface of the player he can be. In year 3, with plays being run for him, I'm extremely excited about what he could potentially do on this team. I'm also excited about year 2 of this duo right here, man. Randle, when he went on the podcast with Paul George, talked about his relationship with Jalen Brunson, how they had to get to know each other, and they had to figure out how to work together on the court. And as the season went on, the friendship grew stronger, the bond grew stronger, and just the relationship on court grew stronger. And I'm excited to see how they work together in year 2. I believe that Jalen Brunson can find a way to get the most out of Julius Randle, who is an extremely talented player. Just sometimes between the years, he loses sight of the goal. And I think having this guy in charge, leading the way, he can get him to the promised land. Really excited to see what number 11 and number 30 do for the New York Knicks this year. Couldn't do today's show, though, without wishing a 51st happy birthday to Kurt Thomas. No one had a smoother 10-foot baseline jumper than big bad Kurt Thomas. Show him some love. Type those HBDs down in the comment section. Once a Knick, always a Knick. And Kurt Thomas, he's a Knicks legend.